Okay, here is another way to do a center pull ball of yarn. It's actually the way I like to do it, which is with a tool. Now the first way I'm going to show you is basically the first way I learned how to do this, which was actually with a toilet paper or paper towel roll, empty roll, but I don't have one of those available right now. But I did find this nice little tube, and basically what you're going to do with this is, I've already started it a little bit, but what you're going to do is just take your scissors and snip a little notch there at the top, and I'm actually going to be using one that I already had rolled, but it's a small bit. You're going to take your little tail and you're going to secure it in that little notch, and then you will hold it down for these first couple of turns, and maybe for the first couple turns just do straight around, and then you're going to start doing at the 45-degree angle, just wrapping and turning. Now, part of the reason why I didn't like using the paper tubes, you can probably actually see it even more with this flimsy plastic tube, is I end up rolling them really tight, and so by the time I actually got done rolling a couple balls on the paper tube, it would actually be pretty much useless. So again, just a few little turns there, just to get you an idea of how to get that started. Another reason why I didn't like the paper tube, or even this one, is because it's actually pretty thick. And part of the whole reason of doing a center pull ball is so that you have it nice and secure, and it's not going to roll away from you, it's not going to unravel a whole bunch. And so what I like to do is just take my Q hook, which I did actually purchase to use with an actual project, but I found that it's just about perfect for making these tight little yarn balls. And also using a tool makes them a lot more uniform, whereas doing it with the fish method, or like I said, even using just a paper tube, you can use pretty much any type of cylinder, but that's how I first learned to do this. So now, to show you the way I like to do it, is again, you're going to actually hold your hook upside down. So you're actually going to be holding on to the hook part in your left hand, and for for lefties, you just flip it the other way, I'm sure. And I'm just going to do a couple wraps here, and you're going to wrap that there. You can have your tail as long as you like. Once you get to the finishing part of this, I'll show you how you can shorten that without cutting it, and thereby not wasting any of your material. I'm just going to push that all the way up to the crook, tighten that up a little bit, and then the tail that you're actually going to be wrapping, you're going to bring up and around the hook. And what will happen there is basically it'll be like these will cross and cause tension against each other. And once I get this set, I can actually pull this pretty hard. It won't come out, or at least it'll stay secure enough that you can wrap as tight as you want. Okay, so now that we have that part, I'm just going to start like we did on the bigger roll. Just hold about a 45-degree angle and start wrapping around. And what it's going to do is you'll be basically going over and under this beginning little piece, and you'll just be working the 45-degree angle and slightly turning about every to every other time you make a wrap. Now, what I like to do is go ahead and work this up in the same way until it's about the size of an egg. So I'm just going to speed up real quick. This is a lot easier, not having to lean over stuff, but I'm just going to get this up to about an egg size. And, well, depending on how much you have to wrap at any particular time, you'll want to do it, you know, about an egg size, or about until as long as it'll actually catch at the edges. Because once you get this so far, it'll start slipping over and off of itself. Not like that, but it'll end up being more long than it is wide, and it won't want to catch itself on the ends. So, okay, now we got a fairly small egg worth, and at this point you're just going to very carefully start working back into the center. And as you can tell there for a minute, I was actually almost holding straight upright doing those last couple of wraps, and then you want to come back to your 45-degree angle and then just kind of work it out a little bit towards the ends, but not all the way to the ends. And you'll see that as you're working this, still turning, that once you get so far and so wide on this, it will start to actually create like little corners. I can speed up just a little bit to give you an idea of how that ends up. And of course, if you have a lot to wrap, you'll want, at this point where you got just a little bit of the middle bulk, you want to start going back around the ends. And I'm actually almost to the end of this, so undo that a little bit. So I'm just going to not go all the way to the end, but just a little around the corner. Okay, so there's the end, and I'm going to see about where it stops, and I want to undo about three wraps. And at this point, I'm just going to go straight across and around, basically a 90-degree angle from your hook or your tool. And you're going to take a regular hook, just like with the fish method, to finish off. And you're going to catch that tail and wrap it under, and again you're going to you're going under those last couple of wraps. Get ahead of it real quick. Oh, maybe come back a little bit and catch it again. And then it won't be a knot, but it'll be just tight enough. Maybe if you even give it a little extra tug there to keep that nice and secure on the outside. Now, to come back to the actual hook part, you're beginning. What you're going to do is you're going to, since you were wrapping this way, these are going the opposite way. So you're wrapping over, but this little bit here is under. So you can see where it crossed. Now you can see where it had crossed at the beginning. You're just going to pull that and loosen it up, and that'll come right out there. And of course, you probably don't want to keep that long of a tail, so we'll get to that here in a second. And once you get this all secured on the outside and your beginning tail loose, all you have to do is slide it off of there, and again, take your regular hook and you'll go up. What was the top will now be the bottom. I'm just going to go straight up through there. Again, catch your tail and just pull it. Just kind of hide it on in there. And a couple times. Make sure you don't pull it back out. And now you have just a little 1 to 2 inch tail. And then you'll want to squish it from top to bottom, and then especially with the bigger balls, you'll want to find which way you wrapped around, and this way is this way, and you're just going to kind of squish and roll in that same direction. And then occasionally, again, if you have like this bigger one, you can see where some of these strands are trying to come in the middle when they were wrapped nearly on the complete outside. You may want to pull a few of those down just to make sure that they don't flip over and start unraveling from the inside out. And like I said, if you have just enough, all that tension should pretty much hold that beginning tail all by itself. And you can even, again, if you get it tight enough, do the same with a bigger. However, once you get past a certain point, it's just going to come out no matter what. So that is how you do a little center pull ball, which if you only have that little bit, kind of looks like the little wrapping ribbon that you can buy in the store. And that's how you do that.